up, fish tank people? Dustin's Fish Tanks. Bring it to you from Steve's house. What's up? How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we're gonna work on my boy Steve's tank. Steve, say hello. You don't need an introduction, but you gotta give an introduction.
How's it going?
I am Steve.
Steve.
That's all I got.
That's all you got. That's all you got. That's all he needs. That's all he needs for you all. It's a 90-gallon tank. What do we got so far, dude?
Oh, we got the Dragonstone, we got the pool filter sand, and we got a little bit of dirt underneath.
That's right.
And so we've got a nice sloping angle. I'm going to work to slope this up a little more as we aquascape. But keep it high in the front, lower in the back, builds more depth. And I've built up a few pockets of sand here around the rocks that are going to be nice for planting.
And though, for those of you who are just now joining this video but haven't seen the setup of this, we actually did a video setting up the hardscape. Steve has been very patient with me. We have been very busy, and now it is actually time. This is a hide the women and children project. Steve has 2 young kids and a wife. Neither of them are around right now. We've got...
Because we're going to make a mess.
We're going to make a mess.
We got towels on the ground.
We got towels on the ground. We got plants on the bar. We got, like, yeah, we got... Shoes are off, carpet, the whole deal, and we are ready to do this.
So now we're going to do some awesome plants supplied from Dustin. Thank you,
Shocker!
Dustin.
That's a shocker, right?
But,
hold on. So, how did you have fun walking around the greenhouse?
I
Today,
did.
Can we just quick take a step back on what you did? So you rolled over to the greenhouse at what, noon?
Yeah. And we picked out the plants. I looked around. I saw what I wanted. I wanted mostly narrow leaf plants or stuff with like finer, lacier leaves. Got some background plants, some long stem plants, some mid-ground plants, and some shorter, smaller foreground plants.
And I was told, stop, no, and it's my tank, dude. You didn't say it's my tank, dude. But you were like, no, I was like, bro, you gotta get this.
Yeah, I went with the hygrophila.
You went with the hygrophila.
Yeah,
we're gonna show that in a second. But I definitely, like, I'm super stoked because, like, it's one of those, like, I'm like, I want to, like, try this, that, and the other, but this is his tank. And he has something that a lot of people forget to do when they set up their aquarium. He has a really good plan. So you wanted to do a lot of fine leaf plants.
Yes.
Which is totally sweet. I was thinking something completely different. But his style, his tank, I gave a little bit of input on the hygrophila.
Yep.
But that's...
Which works.
Which works pretty well.
So I'm excited. These are going to be harder plants than I usually do. So I've got a lot of light. I've got 2 of Dustin's lamps on top of this
That's right.
tank.
2
So
standard doubles.
2 standard doubles.
Deuce.
And I'm going to do a little bit of metal halide as well to get the ultraviolet spectrum, right?
That's
Dustin?
right, dude.
Yeah.
I owe you all a lightning video. I've been talking about it for about 3 years, but the spectral composition of a metal halide cannot be messed with. We'll show that in a later clip. But
LEDs are awesome, and especially in
LEDs are
shallow tanks for sure.
Yeah, but what he is trying to go for here with the depth, we're adding the standard double, and I said let's try out a halide on it too. I don't think you've ever played with a halide.
No, this is my first time.
So definitely want to do that, and that was based on the plan. So you cater your lights to what you were trying to grow. So if this was an entirely just Java moss, Java fern, Anubias tank, we wouldn't be getting that crazy. But he wants the red stuff. And Steve has always been a fan of Rotella, so we're going to highlight a bunch of different types of Rotella today, and I'm super stoked. So before we jump into planting, you want to talk about the fish, dude?
Yeah. So I've got cardinal tetras. I'm going to get a few more. It's just a start. I wanted to make sure they live before I, bought like 100 of them. And then at the top, I've got some rasboras. These are rasbora. They're like harlequin rasboras, only these are called rasboras especie. As they get bigger, they get kind of an orangey reddish color. And then I tried to add some green rasboras. However, the problem is they are schooling with my other rasboras. So I'm going to get rid of the green ones and take them back to the fish shop. Right. And trade them for more of the especie.
I do have to say I like the way it goes top and bottom.
Yeah, so the rasboras are nice because they're going to stay at the top, and the cardinals are really kind of bottom fish. So
would you like to plant now, dude?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so we want to talk, how do you want to start this up, bro?
All right, so we got it broken up. We got stem plants right here. We got 3 kinds of stem plants. So we've got...
That is Ludwigia triple red. Rotella wallichia or Rotella mexicana, I can't tell the part until they get in the water. Pogostamen stellata, but this stellata is just slightly different because it's got a more red stem than the stuff we typically get. So it's got a little bit of a variation to it. Super fun. I want to just take a quick step back. I did the video the other day where I did the 30-second pause. Like we hung out and like played with the plants before we actually put the plants in the tank. There is something to be said about the process of like undoing them and like sizing them up and just playing with them pre-tank. I think is an important step. It's the way to the tank, as Oliver the legend says. So these are the plants we're playing with. Now, Steve had a thought of how am I going to do this like outside in. So what are you thinking? And I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. And I want Steve to go first because it's his tank and his ideas, and I'll make my suggestions.
Well, the tall red's going to be kind of an accent piece, so it's going to be smaller, kind of. I'm going to do it off central, I think, and then the majority of the background is going to be the stellata.
Right.
And then this one, I'm not sure how to mix it in, whether I should just put it on the edges or whether I should put it next to the accent piece. What do you think?
So for me, I would go the stellata outside, and I say we roll over and like you said, I would roll stellata. I would roll stellata on either side because you have the matching canyons. Okay. So I would roll stellata outside, and let's make that our focus for the start, and then we'll work in the other stuff as well. I'm dying.
That's mid-ground, man. We're not playing with the mid-ground plant. In a second. We got 4 mid-grounds, and then we got some foreground too.
So let's grab the stellata, and you're up, bro.
All right,
it's all you.
Let's try it.
So I love the stellata, but
so they're going to start kind of short. You know, they're not going to be impressive background plants, but you just got to realize they're going to take time to grow. You get them growing, they're going to look tall and awesome. So patience, patience, patience.
One of the benefits too is the tank is totally, well, I won't say totally new, but as far as like they said, this is the first of the plant load, so the plants are going to have a lot of readily available nutrients in the water column, and then also in the substrate. I think that's super duper 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 important. If I haven't beat you all enough with it, that the plants absorb 4 to 400 times more nutrients through their roots than through their stems and leaves. Obviously that's species dependent, but they're going to be able to grow pretty quickly. There's going to be an adjustment period because they're going from my tanks into Steve's tanks. Homie, how did you add the neons? How far apart? Can you talk about that? I think
I started with just 10, like kind of canaries in a coal mine, just to see if they would survive. Yeah. And then and they made it, and they looked good. And so so I went back and I added a bunch more, and I got the rasboras and kind of went from there. So yeah.
We did have the aqua clear from our friends at Hagen in the center. Steve moved that over. So I want to, while Steve is laboring away. Okay, so you walk in here. Steve has Thursday night hang out with the boys. It's cool. You stand here, you chill. However, look at this massive couch that you can sit and chill on and look at an aquarium right there the whole time. You can do it. But as Steve said, that's where the wife wins. And look, I can't argue with the man. Instead of having a fish tank, those fathers out there, you know it and I know it. What is where I would put the fish tank? Children's toys. Dads, don't act like you don't have that in your life. Don't act like that's not happening to you.
You think I should leave a gap in the middle, or should I fill that in? I think I'm gonna fill it in.
You want my opinion?
Yeah.
I'd tonina in that crack and just kind of like work the tonina back.
But
so
should I leave that open, or?
I would leave that for the depth.
Okay.
That's an 100% of, you know, whatever, like
judgment call.
Yeah. Plants are liking that though.
Yeah. They look good. They're all basically, I was thinking right here. What do you think?
It's yo tank. Notice how he takes the stem all the way down. He could have left it higher up. He takes it all the way down to get it into the dirt.
Last one. They're gonna look kind of curly right now, but they'll straighten out once they start really knowing where to go for the light.
Bye. Kids on the street call it hygro pin up a show.
Alright, so this is going to be mid-ground.
And I would tuck those as close to the rock as you can.
Yeah, these are going to go real close up in the rock. There you go. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's gonna be just completely filled with plants. It's gonna look awesome.
Lobelia cardinalis is one of the plants that takes the hardest beating with converting.
Okay, it's going in this little pocket. This is the lobelia pocket. It's tough, man. Just like squish it in these little holes and hope for the best.
That's pretty much what you roll with booze. Fish tank people, I'd love to get your comments on, you know, when you do your hardscape, do you let it sit for a minute and kind of design and wait and design, or do you just roll right into it? Leave us a nice note in the comments. How great is that boost, dog?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, 4-leaf clover, we're done. Oh, there's a little boost down here. CO2. So we're ready.
What do you think, dude?
I'm happy so far. It just needs to grow out now. A little patience.
A little bit of patience, yeah. I think it looks pretty solid. We'd love to get your feedback on this aquarium. Fish tank people, what would you do? What do you think of the plant selection? What do you think of the fish selection? What would you do differently? And yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification button. What do you think, dude?
Save all judgment for 1 month. Don't judge me too hard.
That's right. Be brutal in the comments. Tank on.